Hi, and welcome to the DIY Photo Organising podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hi, Chantal.
Hi there, how are you?
Very good, very good. So lovely to be on another podcast episode with our lovely listeners out there in podcast world.
Yeah, always,
I feel
always.
like one day we should try and do a big Zoom gathering with everyone, and it's so lovely to see that people are listening from so many different places. And I always wonder where people are, if they're in their car or going for a walk.
Yeah.
I know myself as a podcast listener, oh gosh, there's so many different locations I'm listening. So,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not driving so much anymore, and I actually, realize I'm listening to fewer podcasts because of that. Yeah.
well, that's why I've been walking more, because I'm like, well, I've got to get them in. So I've got so many good ones out there. So walking works for me too, which is good. All right. So today we are going to just give a little update. We thought it would be a lovely opportunity, seeing that we had a recent catch up and we had a planning session together. And if you've been listening to us for a little while, and we've been around, well, this is, I think, our 91st episode,
Mhm.
isn't it? Yeah. So we've done a few episodes now. So if you've been with us for a long time, thank you. We really
Yes.
appreciate it. Um, and we, as you know, we just are who we are. We share ourselves quite vulnerably on our podcasts. And so we wanted to bring you in on some recent sort of planning sessions that we had, and a bit of a catch up just about our podcast. And so we have this episode to share that with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is what we are doing. So it's an update from us.
Yes.
Um, so starting us off with what we're wanting to do, Chantal, you jump in.
Mm.
Tell us what we're
So, first off, for you listeners, again, thanks for being here in the first place. And secondly, there's not much that will change for
doing.
you. The main thing that will change is that we are moving from a fortnightly episode to a monthly one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to reduce the episodes a bit, and that's not because there's a lack of ideas or
No.
topics that we can talk about. Not at all. Um, there's a few other reasons behind that, but we hope you do stick with us, even if you only get to hear us once a month. So,
Well, there's lots of other podcasts there to listen back on.
yes, there is.
Yeah.
And we also actually,
It's
sorry,
only for, for now, isn't it, Chantal? This is
yes, yes, yes,
just
yes,
not
yes.
not
Yeah,
necessarily a long-term thing for us, but just
yeah.
the current period. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the next couple of years maybe or so. And we also thought we're not just gonna throw that at you. We're actually gonna say a few words about why. And as I said, it's not the lack of topics, but it's mostly it's a time issue. As you can
Mm.
probably imagine, it does take time. And as much as we love it, we also have a life outside the podcast, haven't we?
Absolutely.
So there's a few other commitments. I don't know. Do you want to talk about yours,
Yeah, so
Fiona?
exactly, and I think this was the good thing when we did get to catch up and chat about it, because we wrote down, what our values are, about why we do the podcast, and just that purpose, which really is, empowering others to be able to, love their photos and keep them safe, and
Mm,
be inspired and be encouraged to keep going. And
mm,
for us to give back, we've been in the it's a small little industry really, and we've been doing this as our own businesses for a number of years. And so it's really nice to, acknowledge that we received a lot of help along the way. I think
mhm.
individually, haven't we?
We
Um,
have a lot, yes, yes.
yeah, and I think it's just, our purpose is to continue to give back. But from a time commitment point of view, I'm studying at the moment. I think I have mentioned that in a previous podcast or two, but
Mm,
I'm in the throes full time now with my study because our years start for schooling at the beginning of the year. It's a calendar year school year, so I've got 2 trimesters that I've finished and I've done really well at, which is fabulous. And that's a
yay.
Bachelor of Counselling.
Mm,
So, with the real focus is to be able to extend out through my photo helper business to offer people help in healing through their photos, actually using their photos as a qualified counselor to be able to help them deal with those difficult things that are found, which
mm,
we always see. And I know as other photo organizers, we've had this conversation before, it really is something, and it can often be a real block for people to move forward. And we talk about that through different encouraging sort of topics that we've raised in the podcast. And
mhm,
I really want to understand human motivation, drives, and also techniques and ways to really provide value in that area when people are going through this process.
mhm.
So it's taking up a little bit of time.
Just a little.
Um, but I absolutely love it. I really do. It's just been,
Mm,
yeah, it's been, when you do something and you sort of toy around with the idea, but I've got the support of my amazing husband and family, and so it's been great. But that
mm,
that is definitely part of that as well, as far as our reasons for sort of moving through into
mm,
a monthly podcast for a little while.
mhm.
And your business is extremely busy as well. And so
It is.
one of the other things that we talked about too, wasn't it, Chantal, is that the podcast isn't a source of income for us.
Correct. Yes. Yes. So
Mm,
that's when we sat down and discussed, sort of revisited what's the purpose? What's our why? Does that
yep.
sound familiar?
Yes.
What's our why? Um, uh, it's funny, yeah, we were both clear again and sort of reconfirmed this is not really a source of income for us. That was never the idea behind it, and it still isn't because we
Mm,
have thought about, do we want to monetize it? And we made a conscious decision that no, this is not us. That's not
mm.
our purpose. We don't want to have ads in our podcast, and yeah, that's just not. It
Yeah.
doesn't align with our values at this point in time, and we decided against that. Yes,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, and so I think it's a great opportunity to, look at what's important to us and things like that. And I know we
Mm,
have talked about, and our listeners would know that, we've sort of looked at maybe doing an ebook or even some courses, an
mhm,
e-course. And so we're not going to move forward in that area just at the moment. And there's some amazing resources out there. And next week, a little snapshot into an episode for that's coming up in a few weeks
mhm.
before we move to then monthly, um, is about a fabulous book. Am I giving away too much? Can I give that information?
No, it's a little sneak peek.
Okay, okay. So a little interview with Adam Pratt, which will be fabulous.
Yeah,
So that's coming up in the following week. So listen into that one. So like I was saying, it's just some great resources out there that we thought, rather than creating things ourselves,
mhm,
looking at our values, why we're doing what we're doing, so we can going to continue with the podcast, but we'll be just pointing you to other resources, and we'll be doing definitely our keeping our eyes open in the industry to make sure that we feed through some of those great resources that are out there in other courses and books. um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
for now.
yeah, and we quite sort of, uh, can I say that? We quite picky in, you know,
Yeah, we
uh,
can.
when we choose with whom we want to build an affiliation and a partnership. We have done the courses, we have looked at them, and they align with what we believe in terms also of, quality, excellency and all that. So yeah, so we've done some research,
Yeah,
and
behind
we can stand, full behind those courses.
mm,
Um, and why reinvent the wheel? Yeah,
exactly. Yep, there's some
yeah.
great stuff out there.
Uh,
And so what that means, is that you'll see a new button on our
mm.
website. It's a new little button. It's a lovely button. Um, but it's a donation button, so you're welcome to give a donation. It's just through, a PayPal app donation, and really it's just there that we can continue to keep recording on the monthly base and keep things just really as an covering overheads or something like that.
Hmm.
But, we'd actually had some people sort of say, "We'd like to donate," or something like that, and so we thought, it's something that we'll consider, and so we looked into some of these options. So that is there on our website,
Mhm.
as a donation button, so you're welcome to contribute in any way if you wish, but we really wanted to just say that there's obviously no obligation to do that,
Mm.
and that's one of the beautiful things about these things. You can just pop something through, shout us a cup of coffee if you wish. That's lovely.
Yes.
But no, it's not necessary, of course. But we
Yeah.
have it there should you wish to.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's right. And maybe another thing that, um, I don't know whether we can even say that will change. Yeah, it probably will change, but our socials.
Yes.
Again, it's the same thing. Hanging out on Facebook and Instagram is time consuming.
Mm.
um, and we have still our accounts there, and we will keep them open, of course. But we're not going to be very active. So if you do have questions, if you do want to get in touch with us, we always happy to hear from you and very open to that. So there's two ways. Basically, you can simply send us an email to info@diyphotoorganising.com.au. And organising, remember, it's got an S, not a Z, because we're in Australia. So a simple email anytime, or also on our website, you can find, and also in the show notes, of course, you can always find a link to our wish list. So that's a simple Google form that allows you to give feedback, but more importantly, to actually ask questions and tell us where your interests lie in the photo organizing world. And it might end either, you know, we might make an episode about to answer that question, or we will answer that question to you through email individually, and give you some responses to that. So that would be the preferred way if you'd like to get in touch with us, if you have questions, concerns about your photos. Yeah, email or wish list.
Yep,
Mm,
absolutely. Yeah,
mm,
so I think most importantly, we're not going anywhere, just those little changes,
yeah.
and we get to do a little episode on it. So I hope you've enjoyed our little chatter. To just sort of give you an insight into us and where we're going. And I think it's exciting for what's to come. And it's such it is so important, this area of photo organizing. And one of the things when Chantal and I met together, and we were doing some looking at those values, and like I said before, um, we're never not going to have photos. I mean, they're
Mm,
always going to be there, and this is the thing. Every time we get new feedback on our wish list, on topics and things like that, we always around digital. It's a really hot topic,
mhm,
and there's always um, topics around encouragement to continue going. And when I have this big project, and there's just really a need out there, and so we just wanted to say that we're here, and we really value the consistency of our listeners. It's such a privilege, I think, to be on this platform. and to
Absolutely.
have a space to be able to talk about this. And so, obviously, through my study in counselling, I'll also be bringing up different topics into that area that really I hope to support people through when they go through their photos and some of those
Mm.
things that are raised for them. So that's something else that we'll definitely be tapping into as well.
Definitely, and I can't wait to learn more about that from you. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
it's a very interesting topic and very
Mm,
deep. It can go very deep. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It's
That's
precious.
what I feel sometimes we miss because not we as on the podcast necessarily, but in general, we talk a lot about technical stuff and processes and workflows, and yes, that's all necessary. But in the end, it's about the stories. There's
Mm,
much much more behind that. It's
yeah,
it's like almost this is only one half of the equation.
yeah,
And sometimes, personally, I feel myself too, I neglect the actual storytelling. Um,
mm.
yeah, but,
And there's
yeah, it's
reasons, and I
interesting.
think that's the thing, there's reasons that we do that,
Mm, mm,
and so being able to explore that and be an encouragement, and being empathetic to what people go through when they do step into this journey of
mm,
their photos, organizing them or finding them or sorting them or saving them,
mm,
um, and just being able to be that support and guidance to really help people continue through and get to the end on their why and what they're doing
mhm,
differently. So, yeah, so
mm.
it's a privilege to be here and to do what we do. So, we just really appreciate that we've had this chance to share that with you. So,
Mm.
thanks again for joining us, and thanks Chantel for being able to for us to be able to share this together. I think it's
Yeah.
like this would be for
Thank you.
a joy to work with you.
Likewise.
Yeah. So I am Fiona from Photo Helper. As I finish off, it's always funny. It's like, we do this. We don't have a pre-recorded. I'm just letting
Yes.
people know.
No, it's always well, not
It is
live, but
always.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order. Thanks so much for being here, and we hope you stay with us. And as Fiona said, stay tuned for the next episode. It's going to be a real interesting one. You
It will.
don't want to miss that one.
Not at all.
See you then.
Bye.